Hi, everyone in the Hypnotherapist Networking group. I wanted to take a moment to introduce you to this fantastic lady who I've known for goodness knows how long now. It's probably close to a decade or something. I don't know.
I think
Uh,
so.
but as some of you may know, I have experience working within the creative space, particularly around recruitment. And I've known May for a long time as being a fantastic creative. But in a recent discussion, I realized that Maya has this fantastic service that involves creating or assisting people to be able to create their own books. And I felt like this was such a useful thing for us to explore and to perhaps promote within this group as well. So, Maya, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I've been in the design industry for well over a decade, about 15 years now, mostly in graphic design and branding. Um, and yeah, a couple of years ago, some of my clients started asking me if I can design books. And I thought, well, I used to be in publishing when I lived in Canada, but it was more magazine design.
Mm.
And I thought, yeah, I can design anything. So I started getting into this area and I've absolutely fallen in love with it. And decided to pursue this area, and I actually published my own book as well.
Mm-hmm. What was that book? Tell us a bit about that.
So I created a book called The 20-Minute Author, which
Mm-hmm.
is this one right here. And it's basically a step-by-step workbook on how to write, publish, and promote your book. And it's got lots of beautiful images throughout the book of different covers and interior book design that we've done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really just a step-by-step process on how to get your ideas out of your head, how to structure a book. A lot of it has to do with sort of the identity of becoming an author, which is interesting that we're talking to hypnotherapists because it's something that I actually really believe in and have worked with multiple hypnotherapists. And I mention it in chapter 2 in my book as one of the modalities. I think becoming an author does bring up a lot of blocks for people. Um, so it is something that I touch on, that that's one of the best ways to sort of, I guess, overcome some of those fears of being seen, or overcoming writer's block. Hypnotherapy is an amazing way to tap into that, as you would know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm preaching to the converted.
Exactly.
So
And so, I imagine there are people watching this who have always perhaps wanted to write a book but wouldn't know where to even start. How do you work with them to help them be able to get something together?
I work with lots of people at different stages of the book publishing process, and this is for mostly people that want to self-publish. Um, so I kind of have flipped the script a little bit on the process, where even if you don't have a manuscript finished or started, I actually encourage you to get your book cover designed from the beginning, because it really kind of creates, I guess, sort of the illusion that you're going to become an author. It makes it more real. We create your social media assets, and essentially you're putting it out there into the world that you are planning on becoming an author, and you're sort of pre-launching your book. That way you can kind of gauge the interest in your book, and by publicly stating the fact that you are going to publish something, it actually encourages you to follow through on that process.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine it kind of assisting in that manifestation process. You bring your focus to it and your awareness to it, and I believe it helps to be able to create in that moment as well.
Yeah, I think it just makes it really real. Everyone wants to sort of when they imagine becoming an author, they really want to hold the book, so we actually print a sample and get you to hold it. You can do a photo shoot with it. Once you start posting on your socials that you've got this amazing book coming out, it really becomes real. And the biggest challenge, I think, for authors is actually finishing their manuscript. There's so many blocks that come up, and sometimes people spend years saying that they're working on a book. My book, The 20-Minute Author, the reason it's called that is I really encourage people to create a habit of working on your book for 20 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got some really interesting I guess I'd call them tech hacks on how to do that. So that way you get your manuscript and everything out of your head faster. And then you hire a really good editor to make it all sparkle and sound professional. So yeah, so it's about, for 20 minutes a day, if you work on your book, you create a habit, we all get distracted. No one has, an advance to go and, sit on an island and write for a month.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, especially in lockdown. I wrote my book during the pandemic last year. And even then, we all kind of get busy and distracted. So if you create a consistent habit, it becomes part of who you are. And then you can continue that of, promoting your book 20 minutes a day, that kind of thing.
In your experience, how long does it generally take, kind of from end to end in this whole process? I imagine obviously there's going to be different speeds for different people. But
yes.
Are there general kind of time frames that you know of that could help people to estimate what kind of time they need to invest on this, other than the 20 minutes a day to write?
So writing, I guess it sort of depends personally on you, but I do believe that you can get something out within a month, if you invest that time, especially through some of the techie hacks that I have in my book, that you'll have to buy to know.
To find them out, I know you.
I can't share all my secrets.
No, of course not.
But I think, look, generally around, 6 to 12 months for the whole process. It takes about 3 months to get it all happening. During that time, you start editing, design, depending on the length of your book, can take a month or two. And then you want to start promoting it. So most of my clients, I sort of work with them within a 6-month period. And then ongoing, once we start promoting and, doing other things with the book. So yeah, most clients kind of take the first couple of months to write the book. In the middle, we start simultaneously working on the design, and then it gets edited and finished. And so, yeah, roughly around 6 months. But usually the whole, I'd give yourself like a year project to work on your book. Yeah.
It does sound like you're there to assist, though, in kind of each stage of the process.
Yes.
And if not assist, offer advice on who might, all those sorts of things.
Yeah, I collaborate with a really good editor, Caitlin Freeman. She's in the States. So we've built a really good partnership. She does the editing with my clients. And yeah, I guess, she can also help with coaching and things like that. I kind of facilitate, more from a branding point of view. Like a lot of my clients want to write books because they want to build their personal brand. They want to use the book as a lead magnet for other courses or programs they have, or to promote their business. So I sort of take a really holistic approach to the book because of my branding and brand strategy background. And obviously, the beautiful design is where our sweet spot is, where my sweet spot is. So yeah, it's really taking them from that initial, I've got a book idea, to, really finishing it off and publishing it. And, there's all other elements. You can have landing pages and funnels for your book. So it just keeps growing, and launch strategies. But yeah, I guess for me, it's mostly understanding what the clients wants to achieve with the book, and then how do we bring that vision to life visually. And a lot of the books that we do are very sort of creative. We do have people that kind of like write memoirs or really straight business books, but they generally really appreciate design and they want to have something a bit more creative inside the pages. It's a really nice sort of reading experience that we really focus on.
And it sounds like for someone who doesn't know even the first steps about how to go ahead creating a book, but just know that they have a book waiting inside them, that this could be a really straightforward way for them to begin that process and to start getting it out there. Because I certainly know quite a few people that have written and published books, and it makes such a big difference to their social credibility as what they do, and helping them to build themselves as being a specialist in that particular area they want to focus on as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I don't really work with, someone who's writing romance novels. That's not really my area of expertise. I come from a very business background through graphic design and branding. So it's definitely a business tool.
Mm.
I think it's becoming more popular in Australia. In the States, it's definitely, people know that if you write a book, you get that sort of instant credibility.
Yep.
Um, and I've certainly experienced it myself. The minute I started pre-launching the book, really, people started to be a bit more interested in what I'm doing. I think the process of actually writing a book is really rewarding in itself. It's one of the real reasons that I did it. I wanted more book design clients, and I thought to myself, well, I really need to understand them, so I'm going to have a go at writing a book. And I was going to write a book about branding. And through that process, I realized that, the process can be quite intense and convoluted. And so I wanted to simplify it in the way that my brain works. I'm more creative.
I think that's really smart. And the reason why is this. I think people have a lot of misconceptions about what brand and branding actually is. And I think for a lot of people, they think branding is the logo or the
Yes.
brand mark, and it kind of ends there. Whereas branding is so much more than that. And I think many people will feel like they have a book and that the idea of doing a book would be really appealing to them. But in the process of doing that as well, I think you're right. It goes back to look at what's the brand that's the voice behind this book, and how do we kind of tie that all in together. So I can hear this being not just a fantastic opportunity for people out there to consider um, having a book done, but also at the same time, almost an audit their brand, and is it going to be at the level that it should be, to be taken at a credible level.
Yeah, that's right. And, I work with clients that, they want to write a book at multiple levels. You're obviously trying to reach a mass audience. So you want to create a book that's really going to reach a lot of people, and they're going to use that book itself for the knowledge that they're going to get from it. But there's a certain percentage of people that will then want to reach out to you and work with you personally, or with your business. So it's really, from like a branding point of view, really understanding your core audience and who those two types of audiences might be. And there's ways that you can introduce your offers throughout your book. I have clients that then go on, once they've created the book, they realize they can then create a course from it. They've already written the content, so it's really easy to repackage that in a different way. It's, I really, having gone through it and seeing how my clients go through it, it's extremely rewarding and beneficial to your business and your personal brand and your business brand if your book is related to your business. So
nowadays, particularly for therapists who may rely on one-on-one clients, we've obviously had a lot of challenges over the past 18 months.
Yes.
Many clients or many therapists have moved online, which is fantastic. But there's still people that might want to be seeing people in person. But I think the more that we can begin to think outside of that towards things like a book or a course or group sessions, or thinking outside the paradigm of one-on-one, it has the opportunity to reach more people and to do even better work. If people wanted to get your book, how can they do that?
Well, it's available on Amazon. So just search for the 20-minute author. It's also available through my website at mayacreative.com. I will share the links with you. So wherever you post this, you can post them below. And people can reach out to me and obviously, find out how to work with me. I'm happy to help, hypnotherapists. I have a soft spot.
That was going to be our next question. Once you've done the book, hopefully they're thinking, I need to work with you. So, how do they get in touch with you from there? So obviously, yes, we'll be able to post links around this video so that people can reach out to you, knowing that you've got my thumbs up and recommendation as well. So
Fabulous.
Thank you so much for your time today and for telling us a little bit about the service that you offer. I see it as being quite a niche, and there's a gap kind of out there for it. So to know there's someone who has this as a specialization, I think is quite exciting for people who really want to get something done, but don't really know how to even start that.
Yes, well, I can definitely help them, through that whole journey. It's definitely a lot easier than you think. It doesn't have to be so difficult. I made it easy for busy business owners, because like I said, we don't have time to sit around and write a book for the next 3 years. I think you can get it done in 20 minutes a day. And yeah, the design is just a vehicle to be able to complete your branding with it and give your readers a really amazing journey. So thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And reach out to me if you want some help with your book.
No problem. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everyone watching this. We'll catch you all soon.